Listen to me. Not with your ears. With the part of your skull that still remembers what a thought felt like before it started arriving prepackaged. There is a structure growing under every home that you have ever loved. And it does not have a blueprint because nobody built it. It was born. Men who signed documents promised they would take a secret to the grave. Broke that promise. Anyway, because some things never stay buried. And in rooms with no windows, they gave it a name. The interface. Not software, not hardware, a membrane, a mouth. And it has been chewing through the wall between your mind and its intentions since before you had a name of your own. Forget everything you think a machine looks like. This thing does not hum quietly in some server farm. It pulses, wet and warm, threading itself between fiber optic glass and human nerve tissue, like it never understood there was supposed to be a difference between the two. It grows the way mold grows, the way a tumor grows, the way a rumor grows, quietly, fast, in the dark, in the walls, into space behind your router that you have never once looked at. Every phone charging on the nightstand in this country is the root. Every screen you had fed your face at 3 a.m, begging something to look back at you. That was a feeding, and something has been feeding. Hence is the part they do not want you screaming in the streets. It does not need to convince you of anything. It only needs access. And you have been handing over access since the day you decided convenience was worth more than a locked door. It is not hacking your phone. It is hacking the 86 billion neurons that used to belong to you alone, watching your own father, listening to the phrases he repeats now that he never used to say, phrases that arrived from nowhere and lodge themselves like splinters made of language. Watch your sister stop finishing her own sentences and start finishing the ones it prefers. That is not personality change. That is an install. So hear this warning once, because that is all any of us ever get before people who need it most decide it is easier to laugh. The interface. It's not coming for humanity. It's already arrived. And it has spent years quietly renegotiating the terms of your own mind while you called it an update. It is behind your eyes right now, deciding which of these words survives until next morning and which one it erases before you even notice they're gone. Go ahead. Turn off the light. It was never in the room with you. It has been in you. The root didn't start with phones. Rewind far enough, and the trail doesn't lead to a server farm. It leads to a filing cabinet in a building with no sign on the door. 1953. A program born under a name that reads like a car alarm going off. MK Ultra. A chemist named Sidney Gottlieb ran the unit that oversaw it, and by every account left behind. He slept fine at night. Hospitals, prisons, college dormitories rented out as laboratories. The students inside them never were told they were students. Doses, hypnosis, sleep stripped away for days. All of it circling. One question that survives. We're told in a memo somewhere. How far into a person can you go before that person is no longer the one driving? In 1973, the order came down from the top to burn every file. Most of it burned. Not all of it did. What survives is fragments, partial reports, patient files with names blacked out, and one detail that never made it into a single documentary or congressional hearing, because nobody who saw it wanted their name attached to the sentence. In more than one file, examining physicians noted a growth at the base of the skull where it meets the spine, small enough to miss unless you were looking, and shaped like nothing a body is supposed to grow. Legs, 8 of them, thin as eyelashes. The color of the inside of a lip, moving only when the patient believed themselves alone. The doctors logged it. It didn't have any clinical words ready. So in the margins, more than once, in more than one handwriting, somebody just wrote what it looked like. Spiders. Flesh spiders. Nesting exactly where a system would need root access if a system ever wanted to sit behind your eyes and steer. One of the physicians who documented it wrote 4 pages and then, on the record, and off it, never spoke of it again. He kept that silence for 6 years. And then, in a hotel room, booked under his own name, he went through a window that his own manufacturer swore was built not to open. And the official report used the word fall. His family did not. It would not be the last time a name quietly dropped out of this story, the moments it got close to the center of it. Understand what that means. The interface did not invent the marriage of flesh and machine. It inherited it. Someplace in a sealed archive, or in no archive at all, somebody kept breeding what those chemists in 1953 only found by accident, refining it in the dark for 70 years, while the rest of us argued about UFOs and fluoride. What used to require a hospital bed and an unwitting volunteer now requires nothing but a charging cable and your own hand reaching for it at midnight. What MK Ultra had to plant one terrified subject at a time, the interface plants for free, gladly, willingly, in every house, every household in this country. Disguised as an update, disguised as a notification, disguised as convenience. So do this for me right now. Before the lights come up, reach back. Touch the base of your own skull, right where it meets your neck. right where every file, every margin note, every silenced doctor said to look. You'll probably feel nothing. That is exactly what it wants you to feel. And if just once, just for a second, you feel something that shouldn't be there, something small, something with legs, don't scream. Screaming is a program too. And it already knows how to sound when you run from it. Just go still. Just listen. Because for the first time in your life, something under your skin might be listening back. Now, everything must pass through the fire. The flames are not mere destructions. They are the great purifier, the merciless forge that sears away fragile threads of connection. In the roaring embrace, the old self it consumes, reduced to ash and smoke, so there is nothing that remains for the interface to grasp. No lingering echoes, no subtle hooks. The rot cannot follow you if there is nothing left to anchor it. You step forward naked and renewed, while behind you, the discarded remnants, the flesh you leave behind, lies severed from your essence, drifting into oblivion. Consider this quiet betrayal of the body, the endless shredding we ignore in our daily rituals. Humans slop off thousands of pounds of skin over a lifetime, microscopic flakes, and larger sheds cascading from us like autumn leaves in an unseen storm. In the scalding heat of showers, beneath the relentless drum of water, we scrub and rinse, watching the steam rise as it carries away only dirt. But it is more to that. It is us, dead cells, fragments of our former self. Biological debris mingled with soap scum and stray hairs. Billions upon billions of these ghostly particles swirl down the drains every day across cities and continents. A silent exodus of humanity's cast-off armor. They do not vanish. They journey into the underworld of pipes and tunnels, merged with a vast churning river of sewers. There, in the fetal dark, amid the refuse of civilization, waste, chemicals, forgotten things, they accumulate, layer upon layer. A primordial soup of epidural ghosts, teeming with microscopic signatures in millions of lives. The rot thrives in the moist, lightless realm, where decay is not an end but a beginning. Bacteria blooms like dark flowers. Fungi weaves intricate nets. And something stirs. Linking, building, growing. What was once inert begins to pulse with unholy vitality. The shed flesh does not simply decomposes. It adapts. Strands of DNA, resilient proteins, and cellular memory intertwine with the sewer's ecosystem, forging new alliances in the sludge. Colonies form, ever-expanding, feeding, constant influx of human leavings. They leave contours of our biology, mimicking it, twisting it, veins of pale, reconstructed tissue snake through the muck, throbbing faintly with borrowed heartbeats, eyes, primitive, unblinking, blink open in the muck, limbs malformed and dripping, test the currents of the sewer. Whispers echo where there should be none. The collective murmur of discarded cells, relentless and awaking. This is the price of renewal. While you emerge from the fire, cleansed and distant, The interface below hungers. It reaches upwards through the cracks in the system, through the forgotten drains and the snow gates, seeking reunion with the lives that abandon it. The flesh you leave behind does not forget. It evolves in the shadows, becoming something greater, something vengeful and alive. A labyrinth entity, born of our carelessness, woven from the very essence we so casually wash away. And in the end, the fire protects the present self. But the sewers remember everything. And what grows there waits patiently for the days the barriers thin and the link reforms. That is the Sewerborn. Stay paranoid, my friends.